Yo, what is poppin', squad? We're looking at Neptune digital assets. I'm going to go over a bunch of tickers tonight, a lot of them being crypto equities. It's a very exciting time, I think, for crypto equities here. We're seeing the US like really push forward in terms of regulation and passing bills that are pro crypto and accepting more companies onto the Nasdaq that were once trying to be on expanding their market, right? So a lot of companies, you see Galaxy, DeFi, and a bunch of other crypto equities, crypto related companies that are trying to uplist into the market. And back when before Trump was president, a lot of these companies didn't have that access. They were kind of trying to, what would you call it, restrict it. But now that a lot of these bills are being passed, you're seeing a really pro crypto government in the states. A lot of these names are extremely bullish right now. So again, most of my focus is on quantum computing stocks. You got a lot of crypto stocks, space stocks as well. I really like the looks of some of those. And here we have Neptune Digital Assets, right? So here's another crypto equity. This is an interesting name because they invest in a few different altcoins, BTC, Sol, I believe, and some other ones. And they also are an investor in SpaceX. So if you want some like exposure to SpaceX, Neptune Digital Assets is one of those companies that gives you that opportunity. And I think that's a pretty interesting, it's an interesting thing to have on your balance sheet, I guess, that you're investor in SpaceX, one of the biggest space companies in the world. So we'll get into it. Neptune Digital Assets here. It's been following this lower trend line for years, right? Since 2018, it's been following this trend line. We're on the weekly time frame. The charts look phenomenal, right? So what I noticed right off the rip is that Neptune loves these triangles here, loves them. So we had this developing from 2018, this triangle. We get a massive breakout to the upside. And then we consolidate again for another 3 years in that previous bear market. Get that consolidation. Forms another sort of triangle, right? You could mark this up however you want, something like this. But either way, you could mark it as a triangle in my eyes, or a wedge. And again, we get this large breakout to the upside. What I like about this, like the TA around this area, the price action around this area, is that we're seeing NDA get the breakout, and it's continuing its uptrend by creating higher highs and higher lows. So what we can expect now is there going to be a nice explosive move to get past our previous all-time high. The previous all-time high print was, I believe, 222. Right? So if we can, as we're coiling in this range, if we get that breakout with all this bullish news around the crypto space, BTC above 100K, the US starts printing money. If they start lowering rates as well, then you're starting to see a really risk-on environment, and that's when names like these thrive the most. So we're looking at NDA. I really like the looks of it coiling up below 222 here. We could see a potential move upwards to what, again, it's blue skies. The name's really close to previous all-time highs. How can you really pick targets, right? You could use a Fibonacci extension tool, right? You could, and you mark that move from its low to the high to its first pullback. And you could use that, sure, right? It has the golden pocket around $4.50 to $5. It makes sense. The way I like to think of it is when a name is in blue skies, there's like no resistance above, of course, right? So you look at the volume profile here, and it'll indicate to us majority of the shares traded were around this $1, 120 and 34-cent range. Above here, there's no resistance. So the name could continue to run, right? That's what we like about it. So in an instance like this, I like to look at stocks from a psychological standpoint. What numbers do people like? People like round numbers. 5, 10, 15, 20. First thing that comes to my mind is if this gets moving, $5 is going to be the first area, right? So again, we're expecting now that there's going to be a higher high coming. Why do we expect that? We start from the low, right? Right at the apex of this triangle is the low. We get the breakout. We create a new higher high. Higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high is around this area. We could see things go up to $5 and maybe consolidate again for, back to previous all-time highs to retest. Or it could run even further, but I think this is okay for a trade around $5 in my opinion. I really like the looks of NDA. Um, it's really important to create watch lists, add these names into the watch list, and keep an eye on them. This is one I think everyone should kind of be aware of for some trading opportunities. So, cheers, guys. Hope you enjoyed.